We spend a lot of time looking for answers outside of ourselves, and I'm guilty of this also. I used to spend a lot of time looking at other people, observing other people, and wondering what they have managed to accomplish in life and what the lessons that they have learned and the skills that they might privately have or the knowledge that they might privately have, the wisdom that they might hold. But the more and more and more time I spend, the more I realize that most of whatever they are holding, or let's say a position that they are holding, has very little to do with their own ability. And this is true for the majority of people, not all people, which means that these people that you look towards for guidance, don't actually have the answers. And it's a strange position for them to not have the answers, but they don't. A lot of people have reached a place in life due to maybe their own karma, the positive karmas that they've collected over their past lives, or something good that they have done in this one. Okay. Or maybe that's the kind of life that they wanted. Maybe they wanted an easy life on this planet and they just got everything that they needed, right? Maybe they needed a kind of structure to exist in, and they wanted um, you know money and comfort and wealth, whatever kind of wealth that they wanted, and they were able to acquire it. But that's mostly it. Most people outside of us do not have the answers to our questions. They cannot guide you correctly, even if they try. First of all, they do not understand your history. They do not understand your aspirations. They do not understand your priorities. So, most people, they will never be able to give you a correct advice in terms of what you really need and what you really should pursue, because they have lived their own life, right? They have not lived yours. So while they might even want to help you out, there's a good chance they'll not be able to, which I know is a strange realization to land on, that people will not be able to guide you. The great part is that the answers that you need are already within you. You already have come on this planet, you have already taken a life on this planet, you have taken a birth on this planet, knowing the answers that you want. The questions have come because we have kind of forgotten who we are. When we come to this planet works like a school, like a university, where you come pre-decided with the lessons that you want to learn, with the curriculum that you want to have. And then you land here and you forget that you were the all knowing, all wise being, the soul that had all knowledge and all wisdom already inside it, and you forget. And the purpose of this life becomes to remember it. And then slowly, as you go on along, move on, and go through different experiences, you start to understand that, oh, maybe the answers I'm seeking are not outside of me, maybe they are inside of me. And now, if you're wondering, oh, but how should I get those answers out? Well, there's always guidance available. There's always intuition available to you. There's always a small voice in your heart or in your chest that tells you maybe this is the way to go, or maybe this is not it. So, when you take a step, if you just go inside instead of going outside, you will get a much better answer with a much more higher accuracy rate than you could get outside. Because sadly, most people have their own issues also, right? Not everybody wants to see you succeed, not everybody wants to see you do better. So while you might find somebody who you feel, oh, maybe this person has a lot more success than I do, or maybe this person has a lot more knowledge, maybe this person has a lot more accolades, maybe they have done more in life, they have more to show for themselves. I don't. So maybe they can guide me. Like, let's say this person is miles and miles ahead of me, and I am still behind. So maybe this person would not be uncomfortable guiding me. Maybe they would be open minded when they would be guiding me. But there's a good chance either they cannot guide you or they don't want to. Because most of the people, we live in a kind of world which is scarcity conscious, which means that we all seem to think and feel that resources are limited. We seem to think that there's not enough, which means if I teach somebody or if I give my secrets out to the world, that means that I will lose out, or whatever I have worked for will become nothing. And this is not a bad place that they are coming from. It's a very human place they are coming from, but they have not yet evolved from a place of scarcity to a place of expansion, or let's say abundance, which means their mindset is still scarcity conscious. So even if they want to teach you, something in them will say, maybe not teach everything, or maybe keep a few secrets behind, or maybe keep something for yourself, or make sure you are safe. And this comes from a place of them not wanting to end up in a place where they have to again maybe restart, or maybe plan things from scratch again and build their life from scratch again. And maybe it's a fear that makes them not wanting to help you out completely. At the same time, we never really needed their help, right? So it's completely fine for you to seek answers inside of you. In fact, that is required of you. If you are still stuck and if you still cannot figure out what to do, if you cannot figure out a solution to a problem that you're having, ask for guidance outside of you. Maybe there's your higher self outside. We talk about your reality existing on different planes in this life, which means there being parallel realities existing at the same time. And there is one reality in which your highest self exists, the one that already knows the answers, the one that already knows what you needed to do, when you needed to do it, what kind of person you needed to talk to, where you needed to go. And if we can just sharpen our intuition, like, and use it as a tool, as a radar, to be in touch with our higher self or our highest self, and just get our answers from there, that would be the best thing for you, because our life path is very different from somebody else's. Our life path is not meant to be the same as other people. So while we can look for guidance outside, what we can do is we can get the principles of growth, not the direction. Direction you will have to get on your own, right? You can maybe use them to build your skill set, but not in terms of guidance. You can't seek them out for guidance. If you feel, oh, I still do not feel, how will I get answers that I really seek, or what if I'm really lost? All of us go through a stage in life, or at least most of us do, where we sometimes end up in situations where we don't even know how, if we are doing the right thing or if we are following the right thing. And most often, if you are self-aware, you will realize that there was a little bit of voice, there was a message that I had heard at that time that had told me that this step would be a bad step, or something had told me at that time that this step would be a good step, but I did not take it. Or this relationship would not be great, or this person would not be a great influence. Something had already warned me, right? We can all go back and just if we have the gift of hindsight now with us, we can go back in time and we can realize, oh yes, I do remember that I had a strange feeling about this person. Oh, I do remember that I had a strange feeling about this place. And if we can just, because we did have that feeling, right? So we are already connected. So if we are already connected, and if we can just follow our feelings, just when we get the impulse, or the small signal, soft signal that tells us careful, or that was strange, just if we can just follow it faster and align with it faster, we'll be able to get to places, or let's say we'll be able to pass our curriculum, we'll be able to pass our lessons, we'll be able to go on further and further into the life that we truly want at a much faster pace. And we'll be able to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish at a much faster level. And that is what we want, right? We put so much effort into every day. We spend so much of our time investing in our work, investing in our relationships, investing in, if you have children, then maybe your children, if you have parents, then maybe your parents. We spend so much time trying to keep our life together, trying to build all these different kinds of sections in our life and keep them growing, keep them intact. What if all we want is to be able to be better at it, right? To be able to not control, but enable to, but to be able to uh, have that kind of power over situations and not have situations power over us, right? We do want that kind of firm foundation to exist in, where people are not able to shake us, where situations are not able to shake us, where we have so much belief in ourselves that we are comfortable moving ahead without thinking and overthinking and analyzing and overanalyzing and being stuck and looking at other people. And on all of this most often ends up confusing us rather than, making us more sure of our decisions. So the great part is, all you need to do is just remember that voice, what that voice sounded like when it told you, "Mm, maybe not so much," or strange feeling about a place, or maybe a friendship where you shared something personal about yourself. At the same time, the voice said, "Don't share more." Have you had that voice where it says, "Okay, enough, to stop now"? And that feeling that you have, and that feeling that you justify later as you being irrational, as you being illogical, or as you being judgmental of people. But at the same time, that voice was always telling you to safeguard yourself, which means you and your inner self and your inner wisdom and your maybe even your private details are sacred and they are important. So don't share it with this person yet. They are not ready to receive it yet. Not that you should not talk to anybody, but this person might not be able to receive it. So that voice, if we can just tune into that voice and let it become sharper and sharper, and promise you that it will become sharper. I was I was making a video like this and I was just waiting, and I realized I had reached a place much sooner than I had expected to. So I was just waiting in my car and I thought maybe this is a good time. There was a thought in my head and I thought maybe I'll record it. And the moment I recorded, I'd fumbled some words and I thought, okay, let me restart. But the moment I started to restart, I had this strange feeling and I stopped the whole process and I just checked. I was waiting for somebody and I realized that this person was very close. So if I had started my video, there would have been no point, right? So I would have had to stop it and or the whole effort would have gone for zero. So if you do start to get in touch with that voice, like a little, like if you start to trust that voice and that voice is able to trust you also, right? So when you seek advice from your parents, right? When you, let's say you ask a question, let's say you tell your parent that I don't know what to do about this, and then they tell you maybe do this, and then you say okay, but you don't do it. And the parents will slowly start to observe you, or let's say a guide or a mentor will slowly start to observe that you do ask questions, but then you don't follow through on what is required to be done, or maybe a therapist, or maybe somebody who does have the answers. Okay, and let's say about a situation or a attitude or a mindset, and they are giving you something that will be able to fine tune you. But we listen to other people, but we don't follow. Okay, and this person is able to notice that there is no follow through. And since there is no follow through, over time, they also adapt and they tend to give you little and little, right? So when you do ask a question, they will give you a reply, but that reply will be shorter and shorter with time because they realize that you're just asking questions. You don't really want to work on the issue. So that is the kind of relationship which we have with our intuition. Our intuition becomes louder and louder when it is received well. And if you can just what a blessing to have, right? What a blessing to have an inner radar, an inner compass, which can guide you, which you can tune, and which will give you right direction, wrong direction. Sometimes when you're driving, something will make you go left instead of right. Or maybe when you're about to take a right, left, maybe when you're about to take a left, something says go right, and you still go left. Okay, and then you realize, oh, the road was closed. Small little things that will make these seem like small things, right? But these are just practice um, places to just fine tune your relationship with your intuition, with your higher self, And if you think, oh, this is such a small place, like why would my higher self or why would the universe guide me in such a small way that don't take a left, take a right? But you are important, right? Your presence is important, your being is important, you have value. You've always had value. You landed on this planet, you have no idea. At least I had no idea that we were so watched for, we were so loved, we were so provided for. And it shocked me, it blew my mind that there was this kind of guidance available, there was this kind of love available. So when you do connect to this intuition, don't think of it as a spiritual thing. Don't think of it as, oh, another lecture I have to listen to now. Oh, intuition, what is intuition? No, just think I am connecting to a pure love, which is also hard to find in today's world, right? It's hard to find somebody or someone who will see all of you and still love all of you, right? So, how big of a blessing that could be if somebody could just tune in and just receive. And I don't want to spoil it for you, but the moment you start connecting, the moment you start listening, the moment you start observing, it will blow your mind how much you are cared for and how much you are loved. And trust me, you will go back to that time, and all you will do from that point onwards is just to listen to yourself more, is just to give yourself more love, is just to pour yourself more and more and more into the universe and just have that love poured back into you. It will fill you up in ways that you have not imagined. Okay. And I can't wait for you to experience it.